Leisure interests. What unusual hobbies can you think of? What would you put in the personal interests section on your CV? The simple rule to remember is that we are applying for a job, so we must only include personal interests that are relevant to the application. We must do our research carefully and identify what personal qualities are being looked for, so we can decide what to write when we have found out what the job involves. And if we can think of nothing relevant to say, we should not invent stuff. Leisure interests have always been considered an important part of our lives. In between our daily routines, we have to find the time for ourselves as well. If we are thinking of putting down something original, we must think carefully. In general, job seekers need to make their application stand out. Any CVs might contain a lie of some kind, but we must resist the temptation to invent an interesting background for ourselves. If, at the interview, we are asked detailed questions about our voluntary work, we could find ourselves in deep water if we made it all up. The activities that make us feel physically and mentally comfortable are sort of jogging and rest, even though some activities require much effort. For example, hiking, skydiving, or extreme sports like mountain climbing. These activities consume a lot of energy and are kind of risky to average people, but the adrenaline is the main factor of participation. Other types of activities you could be interested in are photography, collecting things such as postcards, beer cans, stamps, and old fantasy books. These activities consist of rather passive interests. People write such strange things on their CVs that it's tempting to believe that they don't want the job at all. Even the truth, however well-meaning, can be dangerous. One has to be honest about their particular hobbies even if others considered it weird enough to cast it aside. People are cautious approaching to that issue. A hobby presents a chance of showing the employer an open mind to versatility, which they might value to their own standards. Personal interests section on my CV points out playing the piano and also the saxophone, an interest in American culture, English language, swimming and jogging, an obsession with applied electronics and experimenting with international cuisine. You have to be careful what you put in your CV. Companies collect and storage the data from different sources. Everything you write in your personal interests section can leak to the internet. Hobbies considered as unique and interesting for you may not be regarded the same way by your employer. But the most revealing part of a CV is often the personal interests section.